Let's take a moment to focus on the last of the kind of meal stories of the Gospel of Luke. It's the meal story that's at the end of what a lot of people call the Road to Emmaus event. Jesus has reappeared. This is one of Luke's longer appearances of Jesus after the resurrection, and he is walking with two people who have left Jerusalem. They're forlorn. They are walking on this road headed to Emmaus. At the end of the journey, when they arrive in Emmaus, he shares a meal with them, and after sharing the meal, their eyes are open, they understand it's Jesus, and he disappears. It is a story that is not for the impatient. As I read the story, I am thinking, come on, people! Why don't you get this? They said everything about Jesus' life perfectly. But then they say, so we're just devastated. We're forlorn. We don't know, we're confused, we're sad, but they've captured perfectly the story of Jesus. And you would think at that point they'd go, yes, Jesus is risen. But they're with Jesus, telling the entire story of Jesus' life, and they don't see Jesus. That's why I say it's not a story for the impatient, because I'm worn out with them pretty early on in their story, thinking, come on guys, get this. Now I'm wondering, particularly with Judy and the children's ministry, how do you deal with the kind of longevity? Because I think most people's faith journey probably are more like the disciples, that it's a longer period. How does that impact how you in children's ministry see that kind of long horizon of what you're doing?
Well, I think the importance of it is that, when children are coming to the church at an early age, and we're just loving them, and they feel like it's a safe place, a great place to be. People like me there. I'm loved there. I have friends around me. I mean, you're building blocks, I guess, a foundation for them to see Jesus. And along the way, you're telling them some of the stories, and you're beginning to show them, who Jesus is. And though they may not get it at all for a long time, you're still building those basic foundations that help them to grow into knowing who Jesus is and being surrounded and hearing the songs and participating in the activities and some, if you will, the rituals of the church. I think those are all foundational and important for establishing a knowledge of who Jesus is. And then you do hope and pray that one day their eyes are opened. And I can remember one of the things I loved to do as a teenager, which is just kind of weird, I guess, go out and cut the grass. Because there was that solitude of being able to be out there. I could cry if I felt like crying. Nobody could see me. I don't want anybody to see me cry or ask me what's going on. But I could really just pour my heart out because I knew that he was listening to me. He was there, and I felt him, and it was real. And so I think that's what we want to do for our kids is help them to know this isn't going to be something that just all of a sudden they get. And they may know intellectually some of the stuff, and they might even be able to tell it back.
I think it's important at this point in the conversation to say to my children that if you feel the need to have quiet time to cut the grass, I will allow you to cut the grass. Feel free to cut the grass. But Sandy, you've been a pastor for a long time, and you've seen people take that long journey. It takes a lot of patience, doesn't it?
It really does. It's so exciting for me in worship to have elders come forward, for instance, to help serve communion, and I look at those elders, and half of them I remember when they were little children. Some of them I remember when they were born, and they all of that foundational work went on in their lives, and also in many cases their parents were part of it and making sure that they were part of the church life, and to see them now and see that they are elders and parents, but even if they aren't elders, I mean, it's just exciting for me to see young adults in the church and remember when they were baptized.